So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, finally, after all this time, I can present to you my Zelda roster concept. Um, I just want to say this isn't like high quality or high effort because I guess it's high quality for my cases, but like, guys, I'm not the best YouTuber. I'm sorry. But I guess I'm now presenting to you a couple of characters from Zelda. The thumbnail is, however, very, very pretty. I drew it like once, but like, if I put this entire effort to the entire rest of the videos, it's probably never going to get finished. But yeah, this video is going to contain 24 base game characters, 1 pre-order bonus, and 20 DLC characters split across 4 seasons. And we will start with a very, 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 very obvious pick, and that's Adult Link. I'm specifically saying Adult Link because there's obviously going to be other links too. And yeah, just in case, I made this roster specifically to cater to my interests, because otherwise, what's the point? But I try to be as fair as possible. Adult Link on here pictured is the Twilight Princess version because if I had to guess, the whatever, there's Adult Link, but he probably has like costumes from Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time. I don't have to explain why he's on the roster. Champion Link, I think I also don't have to explain why it's on the roster. However, I do want to point out, yes, this version of Link just, the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom just have a lot of characters on this roster. This is a choice that isn't really my option. This wasn't really my choice. But, like, those games did sell a lot, and usually they're seen as quite popular. So I tried to include like more characters from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like technically I included everyone you would want to see in a roster from those two games. But like I also included a lot of other characters, don't worry. Breath of Tears of the Kingdom. Now for a little bit of bias. The last base roster link is this guy. Don't worry, there's 2 other popular links on the way, but like he's the best guy. He's my favorite link. He has to be in the base roster if I make a roster. So yeah, now that we covered the links, and again he's like perfectly fine, he makes also perfect sense in this game. And now that we covered the links, we go on to the Zeldas. I'm just picked this like as the generic adult Zelda. She probably has costumes of other Zeldas too. By the way, Champion Zelda won't be in this game because otherwise the champion characters will just like flood the roster. And I don't see too much reason to include Champion Zelda. But I did include another very important Zelda, and that is Triforce Zelda. Or like Echoes Zelda, I guess. The Link from Echoes, or like from Link's Awakening, is more supposed to be a very classic, basic, cutesy Link. She's more weird and uses her Triforce. Because, like, we already have like a basic Zelda, the adult one. Like if I would have included like an adult Zelda, a champion Zelda in the base roster, then she would have had to be more basic. But because I included the base Zelda instead, she can be like her Triforce wielding self. Next up is, I think, yeah, Ganondorf from Tears of the Kingdom. And this is going to be the first big cut. He's going to be the only Ganondorf. Yes. Okay, sorta, I guess. But the thing is, I would like to include Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess and whatever Ganondorf, and I technically plan to. But, like, he's sort of the best, and, like, if I include all of them, then I don't have space for other characters, and whatever. He either has his Demon King form as a costume or as an install, I'm not quite sure. But he would fight most of the time in his Gerudo form, definitely. Because he's the only Ganondorf in the game. However, he's not the only Ganon in the game. Classic Ganon, pick Ganon from Echoes 2, but I guess he can have elements from the other pick Ganon appearances too. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain him. He obviously has a trident, fire bats, teleports, energy balls, and all the like. Yeah, it's Ganon. Now for someone who is a little bit more not Link, Zelda, and Ganon, I guess. Impa. This is going to be the only Impa in the game, and she's from Skyward Sword. That's because it's like, I think, the most popular canon Impa. Impa tends to have her only popular versions be from the Warriors games, who again are not canon. So like we picked the most popular canon Impa, which is this one. Yeah, so like Skyward Sword Impa, it'll be. Next up, a character that probably most people will kill me for, but like, it's a Zelda fighting game, he has to be in the roster. And that's Tingle. I picked here the Wind Waker version, but it could be the Majora's Mask version too. I think the Wind Waker version looks a little bit better, I don't know. And people would probably kill me and say, oh yeah, Tingle, Tingle, Tingle. Come on, he's a pretty important character. And I don't think he's that bad. Okay, Wind Waker Tingle is a little bit annoying gameplay-wise, but like, come on, cut him some slack. There's like a lot of weirdos in Zelda. Like, I don't think that Tingle is that much weirder than, I don't know, would be a weird guy. The stamp guy from Echoes, I guess. Like, he's not like he's that weird. The only reason is he was like weird in a time when it wasn't really accepted in the Zelda fanbase to be weird. And nowadays, I think a lot of people want him back, probably. I sort of miss him. But, like, yeah. That also means that we have, like, Beetle, by the way, won't be in this roster. I think I've sort of missed him, I guess. Yeah, I missed him. But Beetle could be the perfect shopkeeper, I guess. And he has, like, less moveset potential than Tingle, so, like, Beetle would be the shopkeeper in the game. So, like, don't worry too much about Beetle fans. Next up is... Yunobo, Sidon, Riju, and Tulin. The Sages. If you're wondering where's Daruk, where's Oposa, wait a bit. Maybe they shop, maybe they don't. But I wanted to include all the Sages in the base game because they're the newer ones. And I personally like them more. Yeah. By the way, this means because those are in the game, Darunia and Voodoo won't be in the game. Sadly, yeah, I know. I also don't think that Darunia is like the best going ever, I guess. Like, I think Voodoo's pretty good as a Zora, but Darunia, I guess Darunia has this whole dancing thing going on, I guess. But yeah, they are sort of replaced, sadly. Which is sad, but you know, like, we can't have a bajillion Gorons and Zoras in the game, sadly. It's sad, but, you know, well, I live, and you live probably too. Next up, he has to be in the base roster, Skullcat. He wasn't in the base roster of Fire Warriors, but, like, they sort of didn't have a young Link in the base roster, and they didn't have Tingle in the base roster. So, like, they had to do it in the DLC, and, like, that led to Skullcat not being able to be playable. But he was eventually added in Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. And this time around, he's in the base roster. In general, I tried to make the character spread a little more even. So that means over and mid that there won't be any Twilight Princess like main characters in there. Because like it was ridiculous that Hyrule Warriors had like 4 Twilight Princess characters. Like seriously, whoa, boy, 4. That's ridiculous. So this time around in the base roster there will only be Midna. There will be one more character from Twilight Princess when they were added via DLC. Also in this game is Fi. Or Fi, I guess, how she's called in English. But I'm just going to say Fi. Link's Master Sword. I originally wanted to include Girahim instead of her in the base roster, but you know, I guess you will see later on that we have a lot of villains in the base roster. Or like a lot of enemies more. But like, you know, it makes sense to include her because she's still sort of main character because she's in Link's Master Sword. So like, yeah. Fine. Next up, here's a weird pick. Makaros, or Makar, English names, goddammit. So yeah, this little guy, the reason why I included him specifically is we need a Korok. Koroks have become really, really big. They're like on tons of merchandise and stuff. And he's the only main character Korok that isn't Hetsu. And Hetsu is not only a Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom character, which we already have enough of in this roster, seriously. He's also he's also like so much hated by the community because he's like giving you a poop or whatever. And also, like, he's just very unconventional. I really wanted a conventional little Korok. He would obviously be sized up so that you can see him. But, like, Cats is just really big. He doesn't feel like a generic Korok, you know? So, like, I added Makaros because he's, like, the closest to a generic Korok that is as, like, a main character. So, like, that's Makaros. Maybe he's, like, melee as an attack, but maybe not. Like, again, Tulin already exists, and, yeah. Sorry for all the medley fans, by the way. Next up, and this is another weird pick, Marlon. If you think about, you need the opponent in the game, right? But it wouldn't really make sense to make a Link on Epona character, because, like, the only Link that would make sense to be paired with Epona would be an adult Link, right? And there's already 2 adult Links in the game, one being from the Champion era and one being from the classic era. But, like, would you want to include adult Link with Epona? I don't know. But, like, what about Marlon with Epona and Kukos? That could be quite interesting. So yeah. She's an incredibly weird pick, I know, but, like, I think the choice makes sense. And she's in more games than one. She's also in a lot of the handheld games, so that's plus point 2. But where Marlon is also a clone, or, like, alter ego in the Dream Dimension, Marvin. This time around in a little self. I included her because there has to be a handheld character in the base game, and she's the most popular one, and sort of the most basic one too. There's going to be another change from Hyrule. She's not going to summon the freaking Windfish, because the Windfish doesn't fit her as a character. She's just like a small little humble girl, I guess, with a little bit of sass. It doesn't make sense for her to summon like a deity, you know? So instead, she's probably going to still summon the owl, because it makes some sense. It's like a smaller version of the deity. And the zoo village animals. And she's going to sing, you know? And probably still going to use like an instrument of the sirens, I guess. So, like, yeah. Now we come to the point when the roster where you kill me. I can explain, and I can explain. Let me explain. So, this game has a story mode, right? In the story mode, we need enemies and bosses. Generic enemies and bosses. And that's where those guys come in. Not only that, I picked specifically the characters out that are not only popular, but also cool and important. Or cute in Octorok's case. Octorok is like the first main enemy, right? Bokoblin has gotten tons of merchandise since Breath of the Wild's release and is seen as nowadays the most popular enemy. Well, back in the day it was Octorok. Then we have Dark Knight, which is just like the strongest like knight enemy, I guess, in the games. And is also really popular. Then we have Goma, who is one of the 2 main bosses of Zelda, like one of the 2 recurring main bosses. And we have the Dongo. The thing is, if any of these characters is in DLC, then they are basically wasted. At least story mode wise. Because those characters just make sense to be in story mode. Like a ridiculous amount of sense to be in story mode. Like, they just seem like base game choices to me, right? And I mean, they just seem like base game choices to me. And you might say, yeah, but Hyrule Warriors didn't have them. True, but Hyrule Warriors had those enemies in the levels. You fought against them, because it's a Muso game. Like, of course, but again, it also didn't have Octorok, which was just a huge mess. This time around, there won't be, like, enemies in the levels. Those guys will be the story mode enemies, and you can play as them. It just makes sense, right? There will be some more enemies, so, but those will be, I guess, all of the other characters will be DLC, because this is the base roster. Sounds a little bit boring, I guess, ending on so many enemies, but there is still a lot more. Because now we're entering the first season of DLC. Technically, we're starting with the pre-order bonus, the Guardian. I said already that there's going to be a lot of Fantasy Kingdom characters, just like strap-in folks. But I fit in a lot of other obscure Zelda characters and a lot of other main characters. But, by the way, if you're thinking of a lot of other classic Zelda characters from the 3D era, there won't be that many right here, because we already covered a lot of them. But again, Guardian is the pre-order bonus. Makes sense. Then he can be included in story mode, maybe. Who knows? Next up, the first DLC character, and I think he deserves being the first DLC character, Toon Link. I didn't forget him, he's in the game, don't worry. With that, we covered basically all the normal links in this game. There's still one more link and one more... but like, Toon Link, he has to be in this game. And I think he's the most popular weird Link, I guess. I don't know. I could have also put Link's Awakening Link here, but for one, people seem to hate him, or some people seem to hate him. And secondly, I just prefer Link's Awakening Link over Toon Link. But Toon Link is also great, and him being the first DLC is 100% deserved. Next up, one like 3D character to like start the roster. Give him just like a little as a little tease to what is to come in one of the later seasons. Because for now we will definitely go into more of the 2D direction, and like, a little bit of champion, with a little bit of wild flavor sprinkled in. For one, Ricky. Yes, Ricky. By the way, he would summon it over to Animal Buddies. If you don't know who this character is, he's from Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Like he's one of the rideable buddies. He's like a kangaroo who can like create tornadoes and punch with his boxing gloves. He probably wouldn't have Link in his backpack in this game. I don't really think I found a good picture with him not having Link in his backpack. Yeah, Ricky would be like sorta the Aegis Threat, I guess. With the season threat being, I guess I picked like the two most popular general picks from Ages and Seasons. Like again, Ages and Seasons are not that beloved. I think they deserve to be finally acknowledged. And by the way, both of them deserve like one character, not just one character for both games. So yeah, I picked the two most popular ones, and here's the specific season specific. This is more a general pick, but you know, I don't want to have three picks. It's maybe a little bit too much. Onox. He would also be quite cool, and I've seen both of them on specific rosters, which I think makes them qualified for this list. Originally, as you can see in the thumbnail, I included Ralph. I think now Ralph is probably someone I would personally include, but yeah, I guess the choice is a little biased because I like Ralph. So like instead, it's Onox and Ricky, the most popular ones, which are still from this game and still two, so it's fine. And now to enter season of DLC, Lionel. This, by the way, before you kill me, is the last generic enemy. Other than like one more boss, I guess. And like it's obviously the version from Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom. And yeah, like yeah, I guess he could have been a pre-order bonus. He would is probably more useful. I switched between having like him and Guardian as the pre-order bonus, but I guess Guardian is more popular. So like I don't know. So if you see the enemies I included, they're like all popular enemies. I didn't include that just like a Tektite, even though I like Tektites. But I included like really popular and important enemies, and like cute ones, I guess, in the form of Octorok, I guess. Next up is the second season of DLC, starting with Sheik. I sort of made my goal to have one Link or one Zelda per season, and Sheik is the Link Zelda rep for season 2. Sheik, I personally don't care too much about, but in a Zelda specific roster, yeah, for sure, have her in there. Yeah. And it's also sort of the Ocarina of Time Zelda rep, I guess. And Ocarina of Time rep in general. So yeah. Next up, Lineback. Phantom Hourglass got really like the short ends of the stick in Hyrule Warriors. It's the only game that is featured in this game. In a major way that doesn't have a character corresponding to it. Because there's only Spirit Tracks Zelda. And even she doesn't really count as like a Spirit Tracks character, right? She's like half Toon Zelda, half Phantom. This time around we're gonna have Lineback. And we're gonna have another one. Again, Phantoms are sort of covered by Dark Nuts, I guess. And we have another one, Brian. He's also a pretty popular pick from what I've seen, so like I included him in, yeah, he's quite cool. He's, by the way, not the boss pick, like I'm saying like generic bosses, like he's like main character, like a main game villain. Like Brian is the Spirit Tracks pick. They always obviously would come with stages based on those games. I don't know, stages. I didn't really make any stages, sorry. Next up is, I think, a character that is, that you might have wondered where he is. Vide. Before you're wondering where's all the Four Swords love, he's basically the sole Four Swords rep, because other than him, there's not really a lot of breakout characters from those games. And there are 3 games to cover, Four Swords Adventures, and Minish Cap. So like, Vide will represent all of them. He will also have like a lot of moves from those games, not just his mage form. He will also turn into like ball form for a lot of attacks. So yeah. Yeah, Vide. The will represent all of our Swords games. Yeah. And obviously it was also snuffed from Hyrule Warriors because I think Capcom Zeldas weren't allowed to be included. Otherwise, I have no idea how the fuck they included like an Onyx clone and a Varen clone in the game. Like seriously, Sia and Onyx are just Sia and how is it called again? Volga are just like Onyx and Varen clones. I didn't include Varen in this game, but like seriously, an Armored Knight who turns into a dragon, that is Onyx, and like a magic user of darkness who looks like really sexy and like has like a similar outfit. That's Varen, you know. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But Vide and Onyx and Wiki are included in this game to make up for that. Now, for the next character, it's Koga. We gotta have a brave friend or Tears of the Kingdom character in every season, and Koga is a choice for this season. Yeah. Usually, like, as you can see, he's obviously a popular character and whatever, and he's, one of the major characters that is usually brought up in Smash speculation, so I picked some of them. Next up, as you can see, the seasons are usually always led by Zelda or Link, and end with champion character, or champion game character, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. This will sort of change in the final season where the situation will be reversed, but you'll see. Tetra, Toon Zelda won't be in this game. Because while I think a Phantom would be cool, I would honestly much rather have a normal Phantom, maybe. It would be more useful for like a story mode or whatever. But I don't know. There's always I could always make another roster with Phantom Zelda on there. Okay, next up, she is a pick I mostly picked because of Hyrule Warriors. Only picked because of Hyrule Warriors, to be honest. We already had a lot of villains in this roster thanks to all the guys I included. All the regular enemies are included. So I thought instead of Sand, we're gonna include Agifa. We won't include any other Twilight Princess fab, as I already said. Like Twilight Princess in Hyrule said like 4 characters, which is ridiculous. Again, especially when like Oracle of Ages and Seasons, which are 2 games, had 0. So this time there's only going to be those 2. And by the way, the last 3D characters will be in this list, in this little section, the last classic 3D characters. Ravio, I guess he is not a 3D character, but he's a Hyrule Warriors guy, I guess. Ravio, we need one of the games that is missing, or like the only game that really is missing is A Link Between Worlds. So like, that's him. And I think it was a long time ago since we included Ganon in this list, so I thought one more Ganon would be fine. Phantom Ganon from Wind Waker. I think we needed another Ganon, and specifically another Ganon as DLC. And I think it's probably like one of the most popular versions of Ganon. Maybe I'm wrong though, who knows? But yeah, Phantom Ganon from Wind Waker as DLC with his attacks and stuff. It would probably also be quite cool. Next up is the obligatory BOTK rep, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Raru. He's going to represent the arm powers from the second game, where the Link in this game will, the champion Link in this game will represent the Sheikah State power-ups. And yeah, it's Varu. And if you thought, hey, we don't have enough Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom reps yet, then have I good news for you. I want to die. No, I mean, like, whatever. We have much more of them. 4, in fact, the champions. Yeah, I personally would probably just have one of those 2 groups, but like we need a champion. It's I probably would have not included all of those guys. But like, yeah, it's like the only thing Smash speculation can talks about. And I guess if we get a Zelda game like this, we need to service the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom crowd. I think I did a good job to represent like most of the other games too. Like I represent all of them other than like Zelda 1 to 3, I guess, which don't really have that many characters. So like, yeah, we have both the champions and the sages, which are like 8 characters, crazy. Yeah. But I guess that's the reason why there wasn't a Runia and Voodoo, because it would have meant 3 Zoras and 3 Gorons. That's also the reason why I didn't include Hetsu. Because my god, do I have limits. And this limit is like, this is the last character from those games. And I think there's only one character that could lead out that would be incredibly hype, an incredibly good last reveal, and a Link. Here's the link. Originally, I was like, I'm gonna want to include like, young Link, but I think if we're gonna go for the last final character, I think Fierce Deity by himself is probably the right choice. Here's the last character and the last Link in this game, which means we have a Link from Ocarina of Time / Majora's Mask, which is this guy. We have a classic adult Link, sort of from Twilight Princess, since he's like the main slot. We have Champion Link, and we have both of the little Links that are like more cartoony. I think I'm going to go back to the first picture. So, by the way, if you're wondering what those characters are, this is like one of the earlier rosters I made. I think it looks quite pretty. I would have wished to have like the entire roster and this thing look like this, but like, I don't know. It would have just taken too much effort. It already really took a lot of effort to downloading all those pictures. Believe me, like, you have to all use the right pictures. They have to be in the right format, and whatever. But yeah, this is like the original roster I had. I forgot Tingle, which is very embarrassing. And you see like here on this roster 12. Also included more Champion Web, which is, I guess I didn't include even more Champion Web, but like I included Champion Impa, which is a stupid choice, and Champion Zelda, which is a much better choice. But yeah, I definitely changed my opinion on that front. I also included like Twilight Zelda instead of a more classic little Zelda, because we know I have like a classic adult Zelda, obviously. But you can see like there was always the intention to have like a very different feeling roster than what you would expect a Zelda fighting game to be. Because a lot of people would have probably included just the 3D Zelda characters, and I really, really wanted a lot of the 2D Zelda characters. Which, while I did save them for DLC, I included a lot of them. I probably would think like ideally if you want to go by hype rules, then like the two handheld characters should be first, because they're technically less hype and whatever, hype is stupid. But I did this like this, I did it like this. Yeah. I hope you like this roster, and if you want to see me do like some more rosters, tell me. I always want like to see the comments, and specifically comments. Likes and subscribes would be neat too, I guess. But I really just want to know if those videos. I really just want these videos to perform well, and for people to tell me what they want, so that I can deliver. Yeah. Like liking is less about just me getting like money. I quite technically don't earn anything with this channel. I just want to know that maybe you want another roster, maybe you want like, I don't know, a Kirby roster. I already made a Kirby roster. I don't know, whatever. What are your choices for characters in this game? Would you probably would have included less handheld characters, more handheld characters, or whatever. Okay, bye bye.